This is for you, Gemini. The planet Mercury transits directly to the sign of Aries the Ram from the 1st to the 4th of April of 2016. Now that's going to affect Gemini's first house, and that's going to bring your attention on your appearances and yourself and how you appear to yourself and how you appear to others. But that's going to be in your 11th house of friends and reputation. So the Aries is a natural first house, but it's going to affect you directly in your 11th house of your friends and reputation. So you're going to be concerned about how your friends see you, how they speak about you, and what they feel about your appearance. But that's only from the 1st to the 4th of April. Now, Mercury will then ingress into the sign of Taurus the Bull and still direct. And that's going to be beginning on the 5th of April, and that's going to affect, Gemini, your 12th house of spirituality. So it's all going to be about your spiritual nature and how you feel you're grounded in a spiritual aspect that will be long-term, because Taurus is about having its more long-term effect. That's your 12th house of spirituality, but Taurus is the natural second house. And that's about money and possession. So it's all about the religion that is substantial. What religion will make you substantial? What spiritual system will make you substantial in the areas of money and possession? So that's what's going on beginning on the 5th. Now, beginning on the 29th of April, Mercury will go retrograde, still in the sign of Taurus, though. And that'll cause you to redirect your aspirations to a more classical style, because a lot of times these classical styles are better when it comes to substantive issues and giving the impression that you're a person of substance. So again, the classics in spirituality and religion will be what you will want to do beginning on the 29th of April. Mercury is a very quick planet, of course, and because it's close to the sun, and it basically, it's a planet that changes direct and retrograde quite a lot. So this affects you. It also affects Virgos because they're ruled by Mercury as well. So if people don't understand why you change a lot, this is why. Of course, you have other aspects of your chart, and other aspects can give you either a grounding or an emotional aspect. But just understand that this is why sometimes people may feel that you're not committed, when in reality, many times you are. Okay, now, Mercury is known as the attribute of God, the winged messenger, found in Acts 14:12. And they called Barnabas Jupiter, but Paul Mercury, because he was chief speaker. Now, let's see how your ruling planet of Mercury affects you this month, Gemini. I'm Pastor Rosemary, the Astrology Angel. Thank you for joining us. Now, your air guardian angel is Raphael, the Archangel of Air, the divine physician, Raphael. And he speaks to you from your specific Gemini teaching angel, who is the teaching zodiac angel Umbriel. This is an angelic horoscope transmission from your Gemini angel Ariel, who resides over the twins' immutable air nature. And here are his messages for you in love, money, and health. Now, first for Umbriel's love transmission. The love transmission this month is about your purpose and your personal relationships during April. And it's to be, you're going to find that you will want to be forthright with people, and you want to deal with people who are forthcoming and upfront about things to maintain your own original way of doing things. You want to be an original. And being an original is a little hard in a universe where there's nothing new under the sun, but still, there is the concept of originality. And if the word exists and one can imagine something, that in some universe, in some multiverse somewhere, indeed it does exist. Now, romance is beset with stability and practicality this month. And that's not going to stop you, though, from injecting a little fun into the mix. So with what Umbriel is saying here is that your love life and your family life and your best friends and those kinds of very important relationships in your life, it's going to be about stability. However, you need to make sure you get a little R&R, a little fun time with people that you're closest to. Otherwise, it could all become quite dull, and you might become bored, because Gemini becomes bored easily. So you don't want to let that happen. So you want to make sure that in all your attempts to make things be substantial and sustainable, you want to also make them fun. Now for the area of your money, your finances, business, work, for Umbriel and your guardian angel Raphael, the divine physician, home improvements are going to be the key this month. Redecorating and ensuring that your domicile is insured against natural disasters. That's going to be your financial concern this month. And this is going to be your ticket to exciting money-making opportunities. So you're going to want to try to think ahead and make sure you have all these T's crossed and I's dotted. Now, the only caveat this month is to not overdo your attempts to, quote-unquote, keep up with the Joneses, but rather compare yourself to your own goals and compare yourself to how you've achieved the goals you've actually written down for yourself and promised to yourself. To get further ahead of the crowd is what you might think you want to do, but again, it's the crowd within. Because everything that we see on the outside is a projection of what is within us, as within, so without. It's the monad. That which seems to be outside of us is actually only inside of us, and how we treat everyone outside us is how we're treating a certain aspect of our own selves, of our own monad. Okay, now we're going to go into Umbriel's health transmission for you this month, again with the divine physician Raphael overseeing. That's the archangel who rules over all the air signs. And stay tuned, because we're going to give you a Merkaba meditation and a three-dimensional representation of the shape of the crystalline nature of the archangel who is Raphael. Now for your health transmission, fears and uncertainties about the intention that other people have when it comes to your well-being and general health should not be overdone this month. And a little more faith in your own good, healthy disciplines is a more sure way forward. So what Umbriel is saying here is that you need to have more faith in your own knowledge of health and prevention and your own good attention to detail, rather than fretting about what other people's intentions might be. So, for example, if somebody else is, polluting the environment with whatever, rather than get all upset about that, you can be engaged in causes. That's fine. That's understandable and that's good. But rather than getting all upset about what other people are doing to the environment, pay attention to what you're doing to your environment and what you're putting in your body. And that's really the best place to begin. And really, it's the only place that really matters. Because again, everything is radiated from within. It doesn't really come from without. It radiates, reflects, and then is reflected back to you. All right, now it's really quite simple this month to continue with Umbriel's transmission. If you consume too much alcohol, you will tax your liver. If you sunbathe too much, you will damage your skin. And if you don't sunbathe at all, you could get, you might want to be sure that you get enough vitamin D3. So if you're not getting any sun at all, then you need to take vitamin D3 in amounts that are appropriate for your skin type, because various skin types absorb vitamin D3 differently, and one needs to absorb that in the amount that is representative of one's genetics. That's just common sense. Now, good food sources of vitamin D3 are sardines, fortified cereal, and or egg yolks. You can use that according to your, some people don't want to eat egg yolks because they're cholesterol and all of that, but there's always a way to find a food or a fortified food that has D3, but make sure it has D3. That's very important. Okay, now this month's lucky runestone prediction for you, Gemini. What we got for you this month was Fehu, the runestone of Fehu, reversed. And this is a critical month, because it's reversed, to make a distinction between flexibility and doubt, assertiveness and aggression, generosity and waste. So you want to try to stay on the productive side of these issues. Now, of course, being positive isn't always a good thing, because sometimes a negative result is what you want for health. So what you want to do is be healthy and productive. Now, again, this was Fehu reversed, but there's always a way to take a reversed runestone and make it something that can be helpful to you. Now, we're going to give you now a meditation with and a representation, three-dimensional representation of Raphael, the divine physician, his crystalline form. It's just a geometric shape. It's a hexagram, a three-dimensional hexagram, the hexagram of air in Rosicrucian Kabbalah. And before we do this, we just want to make a disclaimer here, and for everything else on this broadcast, is that high magic can be dangerous. This is intended exclusively for entertainment purposes. Now, your divine tone, as you know, is I think. So you want to chant I think. As you look at this three-dimensional hexagram, it becomes a hexagon when it's in a three-dimensional form. It takes on, you can utilize it as a hexagon or hexagram, but a hexagram is something that is going to seal an energy, where a hexagon is going to radiate the energy. So this is more complicated and has both within, because it's a three-dimensional form. And as you add more dimensions, of course, you become more inclusive. But this is the crystalline form of the simplicity of the light form of the Merkaba field of the Archangel Raphael, the divine physician, the Archangel who resides over air. So what you want to do is chant I think, I think, I think. You want to do that as in a format that you feel comfortable. If you don't want to utilize I think, you can also utilize the quality of just thinking. You can, I'm thinking. You've often heard in many science fiction programs, computers doing that, working, thinking. That's a form of, it's a form of spirituality where one is always in the process of becoming. And some people prefer a still point. So use whatever you're best suited to. So this is your three-dimensional air hexagon. This is the Merkaba. Some call the Merkaba field the Merkaba, and some call it the Merkaba. So Mer means rotating fields of light. Ka means spirit, and Ba means soul. All right. Now, again, you want to be very careful when you do this, in as much as you want to allow yourself a serene situation. You want to make sure you get plenty of liquids while you're utilizing these techniques, because they're very high spiritual techniques. Okay? They're utilizing the spiritual body, as are the runestones, and the body of light and the causal bodies, not so much the lower astral bodies. So you want to make sure that you're resonating in a way where you're comfortable, because it can become overtaxing to the body. Now, for your ephemeris information, calculations for Eastern and Greenwich Mean Time, we have first Eastern Time, Eastern Daylight Time. We have the new moon on the 7th of April 2016. That's at 7:24 a.m. at 18 degrees Aries and 4 minutes. We have the full moon is on the 22nd of April. That's Earth Day. And that's at 1:24 a.m. at 2 degrees Scorpio, 30 minutes. Now for the London times, the Greenwich Mean Time, we have the new moon on the 7th of April, 2016 at 11:24 a.m. That's 18 degrees Aries, 4 minutes. We have the full moon again. That's on the 22nd of April, 2016 is Earth Day at 5:25 a.m. at 2 degrees Scorpio, 31 minutes. All right. Thank you for joining us, Gemini. I'm Pastor Rosemary, the Astrology Angel, and join us again next month.